try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but not what you need. When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep. Stuck in river.
After 3 months and many countless deaths and triggered screams, we finally entered the long-awaited Champion League for the best and strongest players in Fortnite Battle Royale.
We had few to no experience in sweaty endgames and pro games in general. Then over time we turned from weak and fragile into strong and smart. This was in a time span of about 2 to 3 weeks, with the World Cup qualifiers being the thing that taught us the most.
Although we were getting destroyed in the arena games, it took us many struggles to become good players once again. We used a couple tips that we took to get into the Champion League, especially being on console, which is a disadvantage. We're going to take these tips and tell you guys them to hopefully help you get into the Champion League and end up destroying Ninja in the World Cup. Okay guys, so what we're going to be doing in this is we're going to have basically a high kill gameplay that's all the way back from January 21st, so Season 7, a long time ago. We put up like a 21 kill dub. We're going to use that as a background, but then we're going to alternate like clips in from Arena when it's needed be for like relevant to the audio. But anyway, the first tip that we're going to talk about here that I have is do not let ballers take over your gameplay. What happened with me and Gavin was, in the beginning, our skills really hadn't, like, it was like kind of like a cliff. You think like a line chart. We hadn't really progressed to the top level that we needed to be. We ended up getting to about 225 points. But we were doing great in the first like open league. But once we got to about 175 points, for some reason we decided to use ballers, which at the time were OP. They had about 300 health, I'm pretty sure. So we used that, and that basically became our playstyle and our gameplay. And then what happened though was Epic ended up nerfing ballers down to what they are now. Like, well, they nerfed them at first to 200 health first, and then to 150. So that strategy basically became redundant and not viable anymore. So what happened was then we were forced to come out of the ballers and then actually fight and try to go hand-to-hand combat with the people that were already in contender division. And what ended up happening was we failed. We went from like 225 to 230 and we dropped. And we kept going back up to 225 and dropping. And this literally went on for probably about a month. And it was very discouraging. Gavin wanted to quit many times. I convinced him not to quit. I had to bring him back many times by convincing him about an LTM and then secretly sneaking into Arena. You know, it worked. If we had to do it, I had to do it to him. But he's looking triggered at me right now. But I mean, he's probably glad that it worked off now. But we kept working, we kept grinding forward that, and then we ended up finally getting into Gavin and a champion, which was great because our skills finally got us there. Like, our skills had progressed. The big thing you want to do not worry about getting in a champion. A lot of people, they see that and they're worried, okay, I got to get in a champion, show off, do all this stuff, get in the tournaments. But the point of Arena in there, if you look at the title and like the reason behind it, is just for improvement and to get better at comp Fortnite. So do not worry about your points. Worry about your skills. Try to keep getting better, taking the fights, playing aggressive. Don't worry about losing points. Do that, and eventually your play style will get better, your skills will get better, your guns, your building, all of that will get better, your IQ especially, endgame strategy will get better. You'll progress into that. You'll be able to get more kills, do all that, get more points, and eventually get an Arena the right way. You'll be able to get a champion the right way, not the wrong way. You'll have points, and you'll be ready for them tournaments, and not just some noob who's doing awful in the tournaments. So that's tip number 1. Gavin's going to take it over for tip number 2. Hope that helps you a lot.
Alright guys, Gavin here, and my tip is don't get discouraged. Yes, I know Adrian just said that I did want to quit a few times, and he is exactly correct there. I would get very triggered very fast, and I would immediately want to not play the game. There was some times at night where I would somebody would kill me, and it would be like just a common death where might be unlucky or something, and I would just immediately get really angry and just be like, yeah, I'm getting off. I'm sorry, dude. And I have a good feeling he'd probably feel either pretty bad or pretty sad that I'm leaving. Which, it hurts more than it helps. When you play and you get discouraged and you keep going with it, you don't fight back, or you don't practice, or you don't get better, then you don't really do anything good for yourself. All you do is make it worse. So what I did after getting discouraged, which I believe will work for most of you if you do get discouraged, is to practice. Practice doesn't exactly make perfect, but it does make somebody better. So when I practiced and I got better at the game, I immediately, after like maybe a few weeks, well, actually maybe a few days, I got big time better. Like, I watched the World Cup, like we said in the intro, talking about the World Cup. I watched that all the time, and it was on like, what, every week maybe?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like every week. And I would watch that for like 30 minutes, an hour, and you could probably watch the real World Cup, not just the qualifiers coming up soon. And I would always focus on what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and what the commentators are saying. And also going into creative and playgrounds and maybe practicing against Adrian, or, doing something along those lines. Don't just build 90s in creative. You got to focus on what you need to fix. Well, if that is 90s, fix your 90s. But, you don't always have to crank 90s, because in game, you don't really see us crank 90s very much. And that would probably be something that you don't really need to do. So once again, don't get discouraged. When you do get discouraged, just practice. Practice makes a better player. Remember that.
The more you get stressed, the less focused you are on the game, the worse you are off.
Yes, perfect quote right there. Alright guys, that was me, and on to the next tip.
Okay, everybody, Adrian here, back with tip number 3 for this video, and that is going to be choose your landing spots wisely and know them well. This can make or break anyone, honestly. Like, this can be the decider whether you lose the complete bus fare and you end up failing, or if you're going to get a bunch of points and end up advancing divisions. What I mean by this is, you want to basically in the beginning, mainly in pubs you want to do this so you don't lose points, know each spot, find out what works for you. You want to think of probably about, I'd say, 5 utility items. What can give you the most chests? What can give you the most mats? Ballers, I know we said not to use them, but still, any other mobility items because they get out of zone. That's number 3. Number 4 is how many players are going to be there, how many players are going to come attack you. And number 5 is going to be where the storm usually rotates. I mainly mean by like places like Lucky, Junk, places that are on the edge of the map. Usually the zone moves away from them, so you got to take that into account. So once you know like the chest spawns, what's going to happen, the mobility items, where the storm usually rotates, you're going to have a better advantage against players who aren't used to like landing there. Like, I've had it happen a bunch of times. Me and Gavin, we mainly land Lucky Landing, Frosty Flights, Happy Hamlet, Lonely Lodge, and the occasional, we always do it in pubs, so Dusty Divot. We know those places well, so it happens that sometimes we can beat players who might be better than us, but just completely by knowing the places. Guys who run in houses, they won't know chests, they won't know the spawns, they won't know where to get mats from that are well, and boom, we end up beating them. Like, one of the key things in Lucky Landing, if you know that, I think it's either sushi or like the dumpling place, but it has the giant mascot on top of it, and it's made of metal. If you farm that, you get 134 mats. Every single time people land like Lucky Landing, I never notice that thing being farmed ever. But whenever me and Gavin go there, I always farm that because it's 134 easy metal resources, which are great for endgame. So you gotta know these spots, use them to your advantage, and eventually you'll start beating the players out by simple game IQ. This is gonna help your shooting skills, your building skills. You need to work on that in separate areas, like pubs, creative, like Gavin said, playground. But this is going to help your game IQ, your sense, and it's just going to help you be a better teammate for your player, help call outs, help everything, and that's just going to help your duo or technically solo if you're playing by yourself. It's going to help you get to the next level, move to, this is the small things, there's fundamentals. This is going to help you a small branch to help you advance and get better. So that's tip number 3, my bad, sorry. And Gavin's going to take you over for tip number 4.
Alright guys, Gavin back with another tip. This one is going to be endgame and knowing it well. So I have 3 main parts of this tip. We have tunneling / building and 1x1s, and then we have We have call-outs, and we have mats. Mats are something that needs to be collected all the time through the game. You get doubled mats, I believe, in Arena, and you definitely need to get those because without mats, you really don't have too much of a chance in Arena against players. Then communication. Say Adrian hit somebody 157 heavy sniper shot and he didn't call it out. I would be going with my shotgun 5 shots maybe with the pump, and say I miss all 5, then I can't really kill the guy. If he would have called that out, I would have had an SMG kill probably easily and would have known that I could have just one-tapped him and killed him. Then also, tunneling / 1x1s. Tunneling is something great that I think everyone needs to learn, especially if you're in Champion Fortnite. The best person to watch for this that I watch is Mongrel. Yes, I know, he's a beast. And he builds super fast. It's kind of hard to watch him. But you can learn from him that you need to do like 2 floors above and below, and then walls to the sides. It's very hard to do, but after a little bit of practicing creative, you'll probably get it over and over again, and you'll just start mastering it because it's the hand-eye coordination that you need really for tunneling and 1x1s. 1x1s or 2x2s if you're in duos. It's just building 4 walls around yourself, floor, above, and below, and if you want to, you can do a pyramid above yourself. 1x1s are great, and 2x2s are great because you can hide in there until you feel good enough to go and leave. But once again, you can get spam, which is something that's huge for metal. Metal is one of the best materials for when people spam at you because over time the metal will power up more and then they'll stop shooting at you. They'll realize that you have strong materials and they'll back off, or at least most people would. So when you build those 1x1s, especially in late game, really late game, you want to build with metal or brick. Wood still works, but it just doesn't work as well as metal or brick could work for you. 2x2s, you can edit windows with your teammate. The teammate can edit and you can snipe, or the other way around, and you have RPG sniper. You can snipe the wall and then shoot an RPG in there, get 120 or something even more than that with an RPG or a grenade launcher. You could spray anyone and then just close the window right away, or close your edit, and they wouldn't be able to shoot right back at you. So those are huge for endgame 1x1s and 2x2s. Alright guys, that was my tip, and thank you guys for listening.
Okay guys, so the 5th and final tip we're going to be bringing you that's important, that's going to help you get in a champion league, is, especially if you're in duos, know your partner's playstyle and know your playstyle and execute it and learn how to use it well. What I mean by this is aggressiveness versus passiveness, whether you're fighting for kill points or you're fighting for placement points. Me personally, I'm all about kill points. Gavin's all about placement points. So when I explain kill points, I'm gonna pass over to him. You're gonna hear him talk about placement. But first off, about kill points, when I say play aggressive, in the beginning, like I said earlier, when you're trying to get your foothold and get better, you want to play just push everyone. That's how you want to play. But once you start to actually get in a place where you think you can succeed, like you're in champion, when you get to there, or when you're getting to a place where you think you can succeed, you want to play smart aggressive. You don't want to just push anyone and just make dumb plays. You want to kill people, but get them in a right part, in a right area. That can mean third partying, fighting guys with little shield, fighting guys who are on the run from zone, holding the reboot van. There's many smart ways you can play aggressive that aren't dumb, that aren't going to hurt you in a way that playing unhealthy aggressiveness could happen. So what you're going to want to execute this by is still landing maybe a passive place. Say you're going to let's map the scenario out. You land Lucky Landing. The zone's around you more so. You want to push up to the area and say block Fatal Fields, because you know there's going to be people coming from there, that area. You hold them from zone. Maybe you build a 1x1 on a hill. You see them running from zone. They were in zone for a little bit. It's okay to attack them then, because you know zone has them a little bit weak and they're in a frustrated / stressed area. You do this, that's going to help you get kill points, it's going to help you execute. Another thing is aggressiveness and endgame you can talk about. Window peeks that Gavin covered last tip. Many other things you can do. Pushing guys who are already being spammed by many guys, because when you get to endgame, there's going to be poor guys who are going to be most likely spammed by 5 teams differently, all shooting at them at once. Maybe RPG shots, sniper shots. Push those guys, fight them, try to get the kills off them. There's many ways to play smart aggressive, like I just covered. And now I'm going to pass over for Gavin. He's going to talk about playing passive and how to get points in placement and stuff like that.
Alright, guys. That was a very clean transition by Adrian. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, so like he said, I am the passive one of this group. And I love to play passive, but at the same time I still love a little bit of aggressive. So passive in duos, you have your points. What I usually love about passive is that, so in duos, I don't know about solos, but in duos you get 3 points, which is the bus fare for contender. You get 3 points for placing top 12, and you also get 2 for top 7 and top 3, and Victory Royale is 3. So if you win the whole game, just with no kills, say you had no kills and win the game, you get 3, 5, 7, 10 points just like that. And say you're at 290 and you didn't get any kills and you did exactly like I said, then you get right into champion and you're locked there for forever, at least. That's what it seems like right now. So that's why I really enjoy to play passive, is just to beat the bus fare really easily. But as you go on, more and more points you get, the harder it is to get those placement points, because more people are in that final zones and more people you have to kill to like get there. So the more you need to rely on your kill points, as Adrian was talking about there. So you need to play kind of like a passive aggressive, if you know what I mean. You have to kill some guys that you feel like you can kill, that you have some type of advantage over, and then don't fight people that you feel like you're just not going to have a chance at killing or not have a chance at beating in the game. So use the storm to your advantage. You always want to play that next zone. Like in this clip right now, you see how we're right outside the zone. We're actually in a really good spot, and we didn't even really set up for this. Adrian goes in for the launch pad, and we know exactly what we're going to do. Even though this is not an arena match, we could use this launch pad, which I believe we do, actually. We probably do use this launch pad because we have like 15 in this gameplay. So using this zone to your advantage, because everyone's going to have to go into zone sometime, so you can get kills off of playing passive and playing in the zone. And it's actually a really great idea because you catch people off guard that don't think you're going to be there. And yeah, that was really it for playing passive, and yeah, thank you guys for listening.
Have a nice day. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, especially if you liked it. Tell us that. Put on post notifications so we can help you get a champion and a bunch of other content. And that's all for now. See you later.